All right, all right, fine. I'll be a gracious host. How you doing?
Little Mermaid is the scariest Disney movie by far, though.
Why the hell is Ace Blade in your Kickstarter?
Some comics. I'm getting controversial today. We're gonna get controversial today with
my proudest moment is this interview and being able to talk to you two.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Taurus Comics, in collaboration with Fourth Wall Productions, respectfully brings to you the 106th episode of the Four Tales podcast. I am your host, Kyron Silva from Taurus Comics. Across the way is the purple proser of Ace Blade, Danny J. Quake, and together we are your two award-winning blurred comic creators here to help you find your next favorite comic. We are live on the Age of Geekdom Network via Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. So if you're listening or watching us live, thank you for your support. But don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review this podcast because all your positive reviews and interactions help us reach a bigger audience. How you doing, brother?
man. When I tell you medication, the people who make medication are are worth every dime. When I tell you, listen, I always talk bad about like the pharmacy industry and all that stuff, but sheesh, like when you need
Do you
when
need it?
some some relief, it's definitely worth it, man. Like, but I'm doing good, man. You know, I'm still dealing with the hernia. I actually went and saw the neurologist, this week, and they put me on some steroids, and they, gave me some physical therapy stuff to do, and trying to get through it, man. Trying to get through it. How you been doing?
I feel like I need a neurologist too. I pulled my neck muscle out, and I can't move my head. So I've, I've been sleeping in weird positions for the last like 4 days because I can't do anything. Uh,
Mm,
like you said earlier, it sucks getting old. I'm just going to say it like that. If anybody's listening that's under the age of 35, don't go past 35 because it goes downhill quick.
it's like 35 is like the magical point. I don't know what it is, but bruh, it's
Like
it,
one day you playing basketball, and the next day you nursing sore knees just walking up the stairs.
bruh.
So
I've and I, I'm army veteran, and I had some injuries, but just randomly like wake up and be like, hey, my whole right side is hurting now. I don't know. I didn't even do anything yesterday. Why is my entire right side of my body hurting? I don't get it.
oh man, all right. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully you're better, man. I really do.
Yeah, no, man. I'm getting there. I'm in positive spirits. We did close down the studio.
Mm.
Um, you know, on the 29th was the last day. Finally got everything out of there. And you know, it was kind of bittersweet, man. It was like I felt like the last episode of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. You remember?
Mm.
Uh,
Sitting there in the living room by himself.
yeah, we just sitting there like it really felt like that. But
Yeah.
we got some more things coming, and I'm happy about it, and
Okay.
definitely excited to start these next couple of projects. So
Well, you know what's happening right now, though, right?
what?
Got the bequest hardcover right there.
Got the bequest hardcover,
Got the
absolutely,
bequest
absolutely.
hardcover going. I mean, you guys have been killing it. You're at almost $4,000. You got
Yeah,
like 3 weeks to go. So
slowly but surely, man. Like I always say, man, me and Morgan, we always, we're always anxious about Kickstarters because it's like if it doesn't happen in the first 3 4 days, we're always like, what do we do? Like
that's
what do we do? But this is a different kind of campaign. It's a higher price point for our hardcover than normal comic books, so we know that the backers are going to be different, but we're getting there. Thankfully, the Kickstarter IG account actually posted our trailer, and
oh snap.
yeah, and it gave us a boost yesterday. We got 3 or 4 backers just yesterday alone. So
Okay.
um, shout out to the team over at Kickstarter.
Yeah. And you guys are going to be adding new rewards soon to the Kickstarter, right? That's my
Yeah.
understanding.
Yep. Today I'm actually going to be adding some of the pages from the Ballad of Black Rose that you did. to the campaign, as well as as well as some of the original pages from Ace Blade #1 are going to be going up this weekend and this afternoon actually. So stay tuned for that, man.
Okay. Well, we got an amazing artist and publisher and printer on the show. Maybe we can figure out a way to get some of his artwork into the
Yeah,
question campaign.
I got a bone to pick with this guy though, man. I got a bone to pick with
Wait,
this guy.
wait, how you gonna have a? He's our first West Coast guest in like a long time. You can't have a bone to pick with him.
No, man, I got a bone to pick with Jason, man. This Jason is like the only person that I don't have an Ace Blade piece from, and I don't know why that is. Like,
Oh,
I need to get in the inbox. I need to get on the commission list immediately. That's something that we gotta fix before the end of this year, man. So, what's up, Jason? How you doing?
What's happening, y'all? How y'all doing? I like how the smoke is just like all over here, like immediately.
Immediately,
Like
no, man.
I'm,
Welcome
I'm
to the
about
show.
to I'm about to be in here like Cat Williams. Like, well, hold on now, this ain't water here. Um,
You say, well, there's some
oh
creators.
well, well, I will say I'm waiting on you to pull the trigger on the Ace Blade cover because I done did a couple sketches for the Ace
mm.
cover. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real.
Well, Javon Stokes from Visually Stoked Media says, Jason, don't do it. Danny's gonna have you selling his books at your conventions. But
Hey,
you already sell other people's books at conventions anyway, so you'll be used to it.
I do something, you know, every now and then. Especially if I have something in the book, I will absolutely sell it.
yeah,
I'll put a print with it in a second and be like, yo, I did this. Y'all want to buy this?
Yep.
You
absolutely,
know?
absolutely. Yeah,
I ain't
man.
tripping.
So artist,
Mm-hmm.
writer, a comic book printer, vending machine enthusiast,
I
uh,
want to add
Photoshop master.
black dude with glasses. So this is now three dudes
Black
with
dude with
glasses.
glasses. Black dude with glasses. You do some of everything, man, Jason. So for anybody in our audience who hasn't seen your work, give us a rundown of what you do as a creator, and how you got started in the game.
Okay. My philosophy is that everything is comics, right? So when I wanted to be in the game, I've been messing with comics since I first discovered comics when I was 8 years old.
Mm.
My homeboy Mark, my homeboy Randall, we all collected comics. And shout out to Mark Leftwich, man. What's up, boy? I ain't heard from you in a minute, but Mark had X-Men classics. Just he had like a ton of them, right? And these were the old Claremont ones, Claremont and the crew, because it wasn't just him by himself, who made these things what they were. But when I first opened up, I think might have been the Hellfire Club X-Men Classic with Wolverine going in on the Hellfire Club.
Yep.
And I was like,
Phoenix
wait,
right?
John Byrne, Claremont. I was like, yo, this is what I want to do with my life. Literally. Like, some people are blessed to early find out what they want to do. And I was one of those people. And ever since, I've been tracing the pages of comic books, like photocopy them, trace them, and sitting at my mom's table and just like doing my own thing. We used to, when I was in 5th grade, we used to battle behind comic books. We would draw our own 10-page comics or 5-page comics. And like my main rival was a dude named Michael. And I drew like, I don't know, I had like Wolverine versus Venom versus Spider-Man. And this dude came with Keaton Batman in the Batmobile versus, Wolverine or whatever. He won that one. But, he was dope. He was dope for a little 5th grade artist. But we used to go back and forth, and all through up until high school, we would battle drawing comics. We created our own comic companies, you know what I'm saying, on the schoolyard. So I've been dealing with comics my entire life. I've always loved cartoons, Superman, Spider-Man, everything since I was a little baby. And superheroes have always been my thing. So it was just I don't know if it was a natural progression, but because there's bumps, man. Like 50 say in the power song, man. Like I never took a straight pad nowhere, but at the same time, my love for comics has always been that. And every job or every menial job, vending machines, every business I've started has always been to get me to where I am today, right? Like if I'm doing concept art, to me it's comics. I
Mm.
find what I love about comics and I put it into that. Or if I'm doing an album cover, or if I'm doing a book cover, or if I'm doing like I've done one time I had this job. It was the cover of uh, a post death, um, like a not a folder, like a trapper keeper. I forget
Mm.
I'm losing the word right here. It's like a basically after your loved one dies, it's a list of things that you do for your loved one, and
Oh,
you do to get everything in order.
Oh,
And the client hired me to do the cover of it.
oh
oh,
wow.
wow.
And I literally drew and inked a cover for a post-death information book, basically. So,
Hmm.
and I found comics in that. I find comics in everything I do, and it keeps me having a love for just work in the artistic world in general, right? So that is my thing to you, to the kids out there, to the little kids that's watching, baby. If you take what you love and pull that out of every job and make sure that all of those things are pushing you forward to your ultimate goal. Comics was always my ultimate goal. I never wanted to do anything else.
Mm.
I lied and told my daddy I wanted to be an archaeologist, but that was
Mm.
a lie.
Lying to your dad. That's not good.
That sounds good. That's one that sounds good to adults, I guess. Like, I want to be
And
an archaeologist. Nah, I
either
want
you can be a doctor or something crazy.
terrible, terrible, man. Um, I like I said earlier, man. I learned in my research. Like we've been mutuals online for a long time, but I think that's the first time we've actually talked.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and like I was going back through some of your videos and past interviews that you've done, and I was shocked to find out that you have a surprising origin with vending machines, like you were just saying about the vending machines, and that's something like me and you have in common, man. Like I'm willing to do anything to get to the comics. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, I'm doing in support to get to the comics. Like the escape room that I had open, I was like, I'm gonna find a way to infuse Ace Blade into this escape room so that I can, you know what I'm saying, so I can keep pushing the comics. So what is it though? Like, tell us about how you got started in vending machines, and I know that you had a surprising start with Hurricane Katrina and having to move out. I want to say to Portland and then to California, I believe, right?
Yeah.
yeah. I moved around a little bit. Yeah. So 2005 was when I became a professional. I went to my first San Diego Comic Con, and me and my homeboy John, shout out to John, where you at, boy? We were bopping around there. Uh, trying to talk to every professional we could and show our portfolios. We had printed these comics, like our first comics that we ever printed professionally. Cost so much money, like $2,500 for like I want to say like 100 copies or 200 copies a piece that we would never move. We were idiots, but still, um, we didn't know how to sell them. Yeah, so we were bopping around there, and I met a lot of people that I still know to this day, and I met my mentor, who I didn't know was going to be my mentor at the time, Lee Moyer. And after the con came and went, and I came home, and literally like something like a week later, a few days later, Hurricane Katrina happened.
Mm.
And I had a harrowing journey. I was trapped. I used to work at a hotel. I was a night auditor, and we were stuck in the hotel for like a week after Hurricane Katrina. We saw the floodwaters rise. I saw my car get swallowed up by the
Mhm.
water. It was crazy. We literally were trudging through water to try to get food from the convenience store across the street, like rationing hotel food. You could see like continental breakfast trying to make that last a week, and there were about maybe 40 people in the hotel, something like that, that were stranded with me and my family. So it was crazy. It was a little journey. I ended up going to jail at one point. Like there was some.
Wait, you can't just glaze over that. What happened?
So it's a long story, but short version is during Hurricane Katrina, a lot of the ills of New Orleans and Louisiana in general came out, right? And it's not like these things were hidden, but like I tell people always, New Orleans and Louisiana is a great place to visit. It's party town, Mardi Gras, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, the government there, corrupt. And New Orleans proper is substantially black, but we don't control anything down there, right? New Orleans is a big hospitality town, but we don't own any of the hotels, right? So when Katrina happened, a lot of those things came out. I guess global stage that people weren't paying attention to. So when we were rescued from the hotel, we got out on airboats. They came, got us, they pulled us out. And then I had to walk and get into a military vehicle, and they brought us to this other, maybe 5, 6, 10 miles away to the place. It was called the Causeway. It was like off the interstate. And they had thousands of black people sitting there in the August sun, languishing while there was no food. FEMA couldn't get it together at the time. You can see news trucks reporting and filming us while we languished like slaves on the Causeway. The police were like, emergency services, I guess, were like, here's some ice cream, no water in the heat. Here's some ice cream, and they had porta potties with. It was disgusting, the porta potty situation, and people's parents, like elderly parents, were. Somebody almost died. A couple people almost died out there. And then when it was time to try to take us out, they had these school buses come in, and we all would rush to the school buses, and the police would be laughing because it's hilarious to see black people try to escape danger.
Wow.
They walking around with bandoliers. This police force is notorious for racism, notorious for just messing over the communities in New Orleans, in Jefferson Parish. And the one that Steven Seagal worked for, those guys.
Right.
Worked.
That's all you have to say.
So anyway, they were having a great time while we were trying to escape the natural disaster. And it imparted a lot of serious stuff on me. Like I broke during the situation. And when they were taking us out, I finally had gotten on a school bus, and it was the middle of the night, and it felt like a slave movie because they had the dogs out there and they were searching the bus to make sure that, I don't know, I guess people who were escaping weren't evil or weren't trying to do, I don't know what the hell they had the dogs out there for, but I felt like a damn Negro slave. Like I felt like, man, what are they doing at 3 a.m. searching the buses? Let us go, right? So anyway, we get out of New Orleans proper. They take us to Lafayette, and there were rumors that someone had a gun on one of these buses. And they, me and my homie Levon, who was with me, and his uncle exited one of the buses at the time to stretch our legs in Lafayette. We get back on the bus, and it's like a different bus they told us to get on. It was chaos out there. So when we got on the new bus to I guess we were trying to get to like Texas or somewhere out of the way of the storm. Everybody on the bus was pissed because there was nowhere to sit. We were walking around with whatever we had with us. And when the police stopped the bus because there was concern that people had buses, we were the new guys on the bus.
Mhm.
So they pointed at us.
Mm.
Now, I'm from New Orleans. I grew up in thug culture. My daddy was a drug dealer. Some of my brothers too. So I'm not new to running the streets or that, but I never sold drugs. I never carried a gun.
Mhm.
I've always been scared of that kind of stuff. When the police took us off that bus, what I had with me were my PlayStation and comic pages I was working on.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm about.
Mm.
And because there was so much chaos out there, those disgusting ass police officers brought me and my homie to jail, and we spent a week in jail.
Gee.
And the charges were inciting a riot
The hell?
and possession of a weapon.
Your comic pages is a
I've
weapon?
I've never owned a gun in my life, legally or illegally,
Hey,
but they kept me in jail for a week for that. I should have sued them,
Those
but
pages
I
must
didn't have
be
no money.
fire for you to be considered a weapon, dude.
they say the pen is mightier than the sword, man. That them pages must have been heat for real.
Fire. No, they were not fire.
Man, no, that's
It was literally my first job. I didn't make no money off it. I eventually the pages did get published in some minuscule way, but nah, it was a terrible situation. So I ended up in jail after Hurricane Katrina for a week.
yeah.
It
I'm
sucked.
with Kenji, man. I want that book just like hearing the story of like you literally carrying pages on you, escaping a hurricane, escaping a natural disaster, and still trying to create. And man, I want that book. I don't care what the pages look like. I want that book just to kind of um connect with that story, man. That's crazy. What was that story, by the way?
It was a book called Blood and Silver by Q Publishing.
Nice.
And it's a werewolf book.
Mhm.
And it might be a little hard to find. I think I can find it and send it to you, or I
You
can
don't
show
know
you the
Kyron.
page.
You don't know Kyron. Kyron will find
I'll
it.
find it.
So
We'll
I
find a
did the
copy of this
first
book.
3. I think it's a 6-issue series, but I did the first 3 and all the covers for it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's QEW Publishing.
Yeah, that's all.
So
That's all we needed. That's all we needed right there. QEW.
yeah.
So
So that was a harrowing journey.
Man.
Worst 2 weeks of my life.
No, I can only imagine, man. Like, the the whole situation with New Orleans. Like, I don't even remember how old I was then, but I know I was super young, and I think I had just gotten into the military when all that happened, and like it's an eye-opening experience even from outside, but it's like hearing you talk about like having to go through it is just a whole nother level, man. So um you know, like I said, man, I'm sorry to hear that you had to go through it, but the connection that you have with comic books, I can tell, runs deep, man. So um from the origin to now, like I can only imagine like the strides that you've made, and the how serious you take making comics. I once heard you talk about um the creation of Kid Carvers, and how I believe you were at a comic book show, and you had stuff for the adults, but the kids were like, "Hey, what's for us?" You know what I'm saying? And can you talk about how you just want to make things for everybody?
Yeah. Man, so especially now being a father, I see how important that really was and that really is. And the kids want stuff too, man. And I think, as when I'm speaking about comics, I'm mostly speaking about our little corner of it. You know what I'm saying? Black comics with the X,
Mhm.
like us. So, take whatever with a grain of salt. But we get caught up wanting to do our thing, right? Like for me, excuse me, it was always superheroes, One
One Nation.
Nation, a little political bent, whatever, saving the world, blah blah. But seeing those kids at the table, they want their thing too, and they deserve their thing too, and they're gonna come up behind us. So it would behoove us to not necessarily intentionally inspire them, because that feels kind of
Mhm.
feels kind of lofty. But at the same time, like when I was 8, I wanted stuff for me too. Nah, you know, I was always into like the violence and stuff like that. But I don't want to necessarily put that on the little 8-year-olds that be at the table. So we created Kid Carver's. It's still action adventure.
Mhm.
It's just not as intense as I would make it for myself.
Right. Mhm.
But no, they definitely we definitely need to keep an eye toward them as we're making books. Also, I've been telling my other homies, yo, you want another go-to when people might not dig your main thing, right?
Mhm.
Or I don't want to sell One Nation to a young to a person, to a kid my son's age, right? He's not really super into that. I got cussing in One Nation. Like he's not into all that. He's not into people slicing with swords or whatever.
Mhm.
But I have another go-to. We have Pac Samson. We have Kid Carvers, and it it helps you to make sure you touch all bases. It helps you to make more sales, because that is important. I know we kind of shy away from that a little bit, but I like to keep it on Front Street. In order for us to keep doing this, you need
Needs
sales.
help.
So you gotta have different go-tos, and that's what at least at this 2024 round of shows, when I talk to the homies, I'm like, yo, you gotta have the go-tos, baby. If they don't
Mhm.
like One Nation, they gotta go to Kid Carvers. If they don't like Kid Carvers, we hit them with Packs. If they don't like Packs, we hit them with Redcon. Have
Yeah.
some go-tos. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you preach to me.
Yeah, you and we were talking to Matt about that, right? We were having a discussion about that, and I was like, "Yo, you gotta have go tos, baby."
Yeah,
Like,
he was preaching to me
you
at Black Comics Day last month about me
know,
not having enough floppies on my table because I
yeah.
had the trades, and he was like, "You don't got no floppies?" I was like, "No, people buy the trades." And he's like, "You
I'm
one
a
of those
big
people that
proponent.
say."
I'm a contrarian. I'm a contrarian when it comes to that the notion that people only buy trades, because I sell mad floppies, and maybe that's anecdotal, but I still feel like people will buy floppies. I feel like I'm one of the guys that believe that, like, I think it was Rick Rubin that was saying this a little while back, a short while back, that the audience doesn't necessarily know what they want until the artist gives it to them, and then they make the decision for themselves. And I'm not a huge believer in following the trends or what people say. I'm like, I make floppies. It's cost effective to do so. I'm serving you these floppies. Now, if I got to give you a print with it to make it move, then I'm gonna do that. But and I do bundles. I do collect them things. So you can get the first arc of One Nation and a print, for $25, and I make it, an offer you can't refuse. Okay, you want to binge read all this. You're just gonna do it in floppy form. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
really. Like, it's concise and efficient in a trade, and we're gonna sell trades. I mean, Pac Samson is 200 pages. It's one volume. But if, especially with Black Comics, talking about our corner again, what's cost effective for you is important, because you got to make money at this, baby. So if
Mhm.
you can get trades in a cost effective manner, do that. But if you can't, and run them floppies, run them. Don't listen to people. Do you?
Now, the chat
Absolutely.
agrees. A couple people in the chat saying that floppies do sell, and they do. I have a bunch of floppies. But I also know that the
So me a
cost.
floppy. Let's
Hey, I sold a door to door salesman a floppy once. All right.
Hey,
right.
Jason is killing us. I'm about to make a T-shirt that says "Run them floppies," and And earlier he said, "Everything is comics." I'm about to make 2 T-shirts. So everything is comics and run them floppies. I'm making it.
It'll be in
And
purple,
I'm gonna
won't
buy them too. I'm gonna buy them shirts. You heard it here first. I'll be the first one to buy them shirts. I'll wear that.
True.
it? All right. Well, we have a little bit of time before we get into quick takes, but I do want to ask you 133 art. And I couldn't find this anywhere, but what does 133 art mean to you?
Oh man, y'all gonna be so disappointed. Like I was telling Karama um a while back when we did that interview, 133 art. Now it means something dope. Now when I see 133, I'm like, yo, that's me. But it didn't mean anything when I created it, other than the fact that I needed a name for the company. I a lot of times with this kind of thing, like naming things, I go off my gut. And my gut was telling me, you don't got no ideas. And I was like, well, what can I do, gut? And I was like, it was like, your email is jreeves1333, 133. Why not do that? And so Hotmail dictated what my company is called.
Hey,
And I'm fine with it. Yo, it's a funny story in the sense of people be thinking things mean things, and not all the time, man. When you're a businessman, sometimes you just gotta go.
yeah.
And so 133 art means a lot to me now, but really Hotmail dictated the 133. Art is the important part, I guess.
So what you're saying
have them
is,
together and make a logo.
so Bill Gates created 133 art. What you're saying?
Little bit.
No, man. I love that because I'll tell you something that just happened recently. My first email address was DJ Trunks, the number 2 at yahoo.com, right? And DJ because my name is Danny J. Trunks because Trunks was my favorite comic book, my favorite character at the time. My favorite Dragon Ball Z character is Trunks, and my favorite number is 2, right? But
Hey,
now I'm 38, and my son now has taken DJ Trunks and made it his TikTok handle. Like, so now
right.
my son is DJ Trunks. I'm like, yo, how did that even happen? Like, I didn't even realize that he knew, he knew that, and just something crazy like, okay, I'm just putting together my first email address. And now like my son is like, hey, I like that. I like DJ Trunks. I'm taking it. I'm like, okay.
I've never had to deal with that, with having a unique name. I've never had to deal with numbers in my email, so I'm happy about that now.
That's true. Like, hey, you're the first Kyron I've ever met.
Yeah.
In all these
There's not a
years.
lot of
You're
us
right.
out there.
They are?
There's a
Okay.
couple.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I imagine you don't have to put numbers in your thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, man, like we're all drawing from the same well, I believe, you know.
Yeah.
And some of that stuff is providential. And I like to leave space for that to happen. Like, definitely. I'm a big I like processes and science and business and intellectualism, but at the same time, like spirituality, providence, all that
Mhm.
stuff, all of that is working together to form whatever this life is, man. So let's let it. Sometimes you got to let it happen.
Just let it happen. That's how I like.
Yeah,
Just let it happen. That's T-shirt number 3. Just let it happen,
All right.
man.
Well, I think this is a good time to let quick takes happen
Okay.
before Danny's back gives out on him.
Hey, you see me moving side to side. I'm trying to keep it loose. Trying to keep it loose.
right.
Uh, let's do it. I'm ready.
I'm ready. Let's go.
I gotta find it.
All right. Quick takes with brother Jason Reeves. All right. If you haven't seen the show before, Quick Takes is a rapid fire Q&A section where we grill our guests on their deepest, darkest secrets that we found on the internet.
Oh
And
no.
Wait, don't say
yeah,
we. This is all you.
yeah, no, Kyron came up with half of these. No, I'm just playing. This is just a little section where we do a rapid fire Q&A, and you got 45 seconds to answer off the top of your head. and this is just to let people get to know you a little bit better. Okay. So,
Okay.
these are gonna be easy though, because I feel like I already know the answers to
Man,
most.
look, don't even go easy. Let's go. I'm ready.
All right. So question number 1: Rocky or Creed, and why?
Damn, you did not go easy on that one. Creed, because it's black.
Okay.
That's why. But I love Rocky too. I think we need Rocky to get to Creed, and I think Creed is more satisfying once we get there, because I watch them in succession. I love both franchises and as a whole, but Creed, because it's black, man. Listen,
You,
I don't cry in movies, but seeing Felicia Rashad walk
man,
into that juvie prison, take my man out, that I teared up, baby. She ain't had to do that. So Creed all day, every day.
right in the beginning, man. Yeah, we recently did a ranking of the Rocky Creed universe movies, and like TikTok is divided, but the Creed movies are in the top. All 3 of the Creed movies are in the top 5 for me. So,
Rest in peace, Carl Withers.